Today on my channel I'm going to show you how to make sun jars. That's what you're seeing in front of you here. The one on your left is a nice blue color and the other one is an orange, obviously you can see that. Why don't you stay tuned and I'll show you how I made them. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Today on Rich's Methods I'm going to show you how to make a sun jar. You just saw a glimpse of that in the beginning of the video. Just a little bit about what was going on. I know it's been a while since I posted a video. It's because I've been a little busy. I graduated from dental school in May. I started a hospital residency in June. It's a one-year program. I'm doing regular dentistry throughout the day, and I'm also doing some on-call for emergencies if people lose a tooth, so on. I'm the one that they call to bring in. Also, there was a race that I ran, I believe it was back in April. It was in West Virginia. It's called the Tough Mudder. You've probably seen races like this recently where you have to do obstacles and you're running a few miles. This race was about 11 miles. It was around 20 obstacles or so, probably give or take, probably a little more than that. And at the very end, there was a part where they actually had wires hanging down, and these wires would electrocute you just slightly as you're running through. What happened was I was so exhausted at this point, I believe that I blacked out for just a split second. I tripped on some mud and I fell and I hit my head and I hit right in between my eye here, and I don't know if you can see in the video, I have a little bit of a scar there yet. I was bleeding. Everyone thought that I was badass because I was bleeding at the end of this race and I had mud all over my face. And let's just go to the clip. I'll show you, there's a videotape of me falling and I have some pictures to show you what it looked like afterward.
2, 1, go!
Woo!
3, 2, 1, go!
Run, run!
3, 2, 1.
So that always makes me laugh whenever I see that. It was a great time. I am so glad I got to do it with my friends at home or from dental school. So I would recommend doing it. However, just be careful because you might fall and hurt yourself. Let's get to the tutorial. That's enough about what's going on in my life. Like I said, we're doing a sun jar today. What you have to do first, the things that you need to buy would be the jar itself. You can get this at Walmart, Michael's, any craft store. These are around $4 to $5. You want to get them that have the lid on top. You can get like a mason jar type thing that the lid fits over top, because you want the solar panel or the solar light housing or the solar light itself to fit inside the lid like I have here. You're also going to need to buy the solar light itself. This was $3 at Walmart. I've seen them for $1. These are those things you put outside. They shut off during the day and charge, and then they turn on at night. They have a little LED right on the inside portion right here, which is what gives us the light. You're also going to need to buy the frosting material. The frosting that I use is Valspar frosting. It's meant for plastic and glass. This is really easy to use. It's just like spray paint. You hold it 10 to 12 inches away and put on very light coats as we go across, and it gives this frosting effect, which I thought was pretty cool, and that was really easy to do. You're also going to need most likely a hot glue gun. You don't need to use hot glue. Where I show you to use hot glue in the video, you can also use Scotch tape if you'd like. I just thought the hot glue was easier to use. I have my screwdriver set out because I love these things for some reason. You really don't need all of these. I only needed to use one flathead and one Phillips screwdriver, so that's all you really need in regards to a screwdriver, and that's to help take the light apart. And finally, these nice little colorful items I have on the side here are meant for the actual color to your light. These add the color to the light. You can see that there's orange here on the light. This is actually the label from the orange juice. All you do is just cut a piece of that out and use hot glue and glue that onto the housing of the light. And that's what actually gives you the color to your sun jar. And I don't know if you guys remember the Sunny Delight commercials from back probably about 15-20 years ago, but I thought I would just do a little trip down memory lane. Oh man, after a day of running around outside, I'm thirsty. How about you, Mary?
Yeah, I'm thirsty.
Oh, okay, well we got some cola, we have some purple stuff, we have some all-natural 100% juice. Oh wait, we got some Sunny D. You want some of that, Mary?
Yeah, I'll take some of the synthetic orange juice.
Okay, that sounds great. never forget those commercials from when I was younger. Just seeing this cola bottle, how generic it looked, just reminded me of it and brought me right back to my childhood. Also, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to lifehacker.com. My friend Dane actually referred me to this website. He gave me the idea for the sun jar. And on lifehacker.com, you'll see that there's written instructions on how to make the sun jar as well. But I thought I would make a video tutorial because I really thought it was a cool idea. So you can see a link to lifehacker.com in the description below the video. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so first I'm going to clean the glass off with some rubbing alcohol just to get rid of any oil that's on the glass, because a lot of times it could cause this not to spread as evenly, the frosting, when you put it on there. You can also frost the lids if you want. I decided not to. I thought it looked nicer having it clear. Also, that way light can get in there very easily for the solar panel that's on that light. But if you want to frost it, you can. It should be fine, but I'm not going to in this demo. Okay, so I let the rubbing alcohol dry, and actually in the meantime I looked up this cool stencil of a tree. You can do this yourself if you want. You don't have to, but it'll give a nice negative effect wherever this stencil is. I just cut this out with a craft knife. I just Googled, like tree stencil, and I cut it out, and I just added it to the glass with this Elmer stick. It's like a glue stick. I added a very, very tiny amount to the edges of the tree. That way it sticks down onto the glass. And what will happen is I'll spray paint over top of this and it'll give a nice negative effect, so there won't be any frosting where the stencil is. You don't have to do this, but I just thought it'd be a pretty cool idea just to give a nice personal touch to your sun jar. So what I'm going to do next now is I'm going to spread these apart. Make sure that you mix your frosting paint very, very well. It says the directions say for about a minute you should be shaking back and forth, listening for that bead to be moving around. That way it's nice and mixed. And then to spray paint it, you want to stay about 10 to 12 inches away from the item that you're spraying, and I'm going to be doing it in a nice sweeping motion. Okay, so now that that's evenly coated, you're going to let that dry for about an hour, and probably what I'm going to do is in about a half hour I'm going to come back and remove this stencil. That way it's not stuck on there too permanently. I'll just probably use some tweezers and pull it off. Okay, so for the first step, we are going to have to take this solar panel off of the light. You'll see at the top there's a solar panel at the top here, and this middle circle here is actually the sensor that senses the light. So when it gets dark out, the light turns on, and then when it's light, when the sun is out, the light shuts off. So that's why at night these turn on. It's because of that little sensor in the top there that senses the dark. What we're going to do is we're going to remove this square, which is the solar panel with that sensor. And we're going to put that onto the lid inside the inner portion of this lid. If your lid is actually big enough to fit this plastic housing at the top, I'll show you. So I'm going to just take this off. If this housing actually can fit inside the jar or the lid of the jar, then you don't have to take it apart. However, it is hard to find jars. The jar gets really large, and you'll find that in order for a lid to fit this housing, this little light won't be enough power to actually light up the whole jar. So that's why I'm using one of these smaller jars. And it makes it a little easier for you to customize it. You'll see in the inside here there's actually 4 screws. We're just going to unscrew those. And probably depending on the type of solar light that you use, might be a different way of opening it, but all of them are going to be generally the same. All the screws are out now. Now this simply comes apart like so. You'll see the 2 wires going to the solar panel at the top. This is that sensor right here. You can see the light turning on and off. It's probably flashing underneath. So there's actually a clear portion in the solar panel that allows light to get through to this sensor, and that's what allows it to turn on and off when it gets dark. So to get this solar panel off, what I found what was easiest to use was just a flathead screwdriver, like one of those small jeweler screwdrivers. And I'm just going to pry it off. This is plastic. They might be made out of glass sometimes, but most likely it won't break. However, just be careful. I don't want you to hurt yourself while you're doing this, so try to gently pry this away. And one of the ways I found easiest to do that was actually bending this the plastic portion of the housing, and you can see how it's starting to flip up, and there it's actually loosened already. So that was pretty easy. And then what I find it's almost easiest just to try to break this housing, or you could use some sharp pliers or like sharp scissors to actually cut this plastic, and I'm actually going to do that now. And there you go. And now you can just slide that wire right through there, and now this plastic portion is off away from the solar panel. Okay, so next what you're going to do is just take this solar panel and you're going to want to put it at the top of the lid. That way it's shining, that way the light can shine onto it to charge the battery. And what's nice about the size lid that I bought was that the plastic housing actually fits flush with the outer rim of the lid. So I'm not going to need to take this light off of this black housing. However, if you needed to, you can do that. Let me just get the battery out of the way here. This solar panel actually has, or solar light, actually has 2 screws on the inside. If you take these 2 screws off, you'd be able to remove this whole light. The only issue that you might have is with the battery. You might actually have to splice these wires, take them off, and either tape them onto the battery, or you can go to Radio Shack and actually buy, it's like a little housing that the battery goes into, that's just like the one that's here, and that way it would be a little bit smaller, and then you can fit it custom to any size lid. But like I said, in this tutorial, this lid actually fits perfectly with this black housing, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, so next I'm going to hot glue this solar panel to the top of this lid. I'm going to do that by adding just little dots in the corner of the solar panel and then placing the solar panel in the lid like so. Then after that, we are going to hot glue the housing to the lid itself. Also, when you're gluing the solar panel into the lid, it's not a big deal. However, it might be a good idea just to keep an eye on where this sensor is, because the little area in the middle of the solar panel, like I showed before, is an area that's just clear. That way light can transmit down to this panel to turn it on and off. If it's not exactly lined up, it's okay. It's not going to make a big deal. Light will still travel through underneath and the sensor will still sense it. However, to make it more work better, it might be a good idea to try to line that solar panel best you can with this sensor. So this middle portion, this clear portion, lined up with this sensor. That way the light can travel through and it'll turn on and off like it should. Okay, so now I'm just going to go around the lid and hot glue it to the housing to the lid. Okay, there you go. Now you have your top portion of your sun jar. So when the light turns, when the light is really bright outside, the solar panel will charge that battery and the light won't be on, and then when it gets dark, the sensor will turn the light on. Next, what I'm going to do is now gently put this down again so the battery doesn't pop out. What I'm going to be using is a wrapper from an actual orange drink, and you can see it gives a nice orange color. What I'm going to do is just place a little bit of hot glue on each little corner here, just a very tiny amount, again, to prevent that flexion or torquing from occurring with the plastic. Okay, now I think this is finished. Let's put this onto the jar and see what the final result is. Okay, so there you go. On your right side of your screen, you'll see the one with the tree that we have with the stencil, and then this is another one that I put with the blue film on it. But you can see they add a really nice color to, this is in my bathroom right now. You can use this on your patio. But they're a really neat addition to anyone's household, and I think they're fun and easy to make. And what's cool is that they turn off with the sunlight, they charge, you kind of can just let them sit there and they do their thing. Alright, well, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below in the descriptions. If not, this is Rich's Methods. I will see you on YouTube.